Okay, what the heck are we looking at? Well, this is the fairly rare and kind of exotic Rims headset. These were produced in the 90s by a company called Purecussion. They went on to pioneer the Rims mounting technology that many drummers are familiar with, this type of mounting system. But this kit had a limited production run. The theory behind this is that it's developed for rehearsal, studio work, or smaller gigs. I bought this set brand new from Loria Music in Clark, New Jersey in the early 90s. I think I paid around $300 for it. Came with everything but the snare and the cymbals, just as you see it. They did make a snare drum that went with this kit, but those are incredibly hard to find, and also I understand they really didn't function well. So the suspended heads do give you a pretty good tone and some sustain. They are also tunable. Now, this kit came out in 3 different versions. The first version had what's called pre-tuned heads. They were basically the same heads as these. They were mounted similar style, and they came from the factory with a sound that you couldn't change, so you just had to live with what you got. This was the second version of this kit that is tunable. They added these tuning pegs and a little rim underneath here that gives you the ability to change the sound somewhat. And then the third version of this kit came with the ability to take any head. And of course it was called the NE kit. So any drum heads you wanted to put on, and they were tunable, and that was more desirable than having these factory made heads. But this is version number 2. I added a cheap snare drum, of course, and a couple of cymbals, and I have actually used this kit on some gigs. The big knock on this is the bass drum, of course. It's a tiny little 20-inch bass drum without any depth. It really has no pop or thud whatsoever. I dampened it with good old duct tape and napkins. It doesn't sound terrible. When this is mic'd at a live gig, it's actually okay. And the rest of the drums, you know, I'm satisfied with them. It's a nice addition to my collection here. I'll hook this up and I'll give you an idea of what it sounds like. Come on. Anyway, that's it. So the Rims headset, like I said, a nice addition to my collection. These are fairly unusual, fairly collectible at this point. I like the kind of space-age look of the whole thing connecting together with these black plastic clamps, and you know, down here in the basement, it's okay. Like I said, I've used it for gigs. I've used it at rehearsal. It's not awful and kind of cool. So there it is. Thanks for looking.